Turn my. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the February 3rd, 2026 regular meeting of the Board of Directors of the San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District. Please join me as we pledge allegiance to our great flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Vice President Mateo.
Here.
Director Keelhold.
Here.
Director Longville.
Here.
Director Velasquez.
Present.
And President Harrison.
Present.
We have a quorum. Board is present.
Thank you, sir. Now's our time for public comment. Members of the public can address the board on any subject that is with or without our agenda. And each speaker is limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. Do we have any requests to speak, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, Mr. President. I received a request to speak from John Bednick from Metropolitan Water District, referencing item 4.2.
From where?
For item 4.2. He's coming from a Metropolitan Water District. Yes, sir.
Is that's small organization that's
Kind of big, sir.
that's in the 11-story tower?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. We're
Yeah.
glad you're here.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of your board. My name's John Bednarski. I'm the Assistant General Manager for Water Resources at Metropolitan Water District. I'm here today to speak on item 4.2, which is a joint use agreement between your agency and Metropolitan Water Districts. Both of our agencies have a strong history of collaboration on water infrastructure projects, at least for the last 25 years. In 2002, the respective boards of Metropolitan and San Bernardino Valley approved an interconnection agreement between your Foothill pipeline and our inland feeder. At that time, we were having difficulty completing the 2 arrowhead tunnels through the San Bernardino Mountains. And this interconnection between our respective infrastructure allowed us to begin filling Diamond Valley Lake earlier, about 7 years earlier than we otherwise would have been able to do that. In 2020-22 drought, a gap in our system of being able to supply water from Diamond Valley Lake and the Colorado River to all of our system was discovered when state water allocations were cut back to basically health and safety allocations. Since that time, we've been working closely with your team to identify a way to, again, interconnect our 2 systems so that should those shortfalls on the state water project happen again, we would be able to utilize our inland feeder in conjunction with your Foothill pump station to actually send water backwards from Diamond Valley Lake into the Inland Empire, thereby closing that gap and taking that portion of our system off of its dependent for state water project supplies. So there's 4 projects. 3 of those have already been completed by Metropolitan. We've received state grant funding for a portion of that work. So now we're talking today about the 4th project. This intertie is very important to us. As you'll hear in the presentation from your staff, we've already proof tested the concept by sending water from Diamond Valley Lake to one of your nearby spreading grounds. So we've been able to use a couple of the facilities that have already been presented. So we're excited about our collaborative relationship together, and we urge your board to vote in favor of this joint use agreement. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate the relationship with your organization. All right. Moving on with our agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
we have an additional request to speak from Mr. Matthew Beeston online.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Hello, President and directors. My name is Matthew Beeston, and I am a proud representative of the Carpenters Union. The Carpenters Union is not affiliated with any building trades council, state or local. The Building Trades Council is an organization that represents some construction trades. The Building Trades Council does not represent the Carpenters Union. My comment today is regarding Sites Reservoir. Barnard Construction, the construction manager at risk, selected for a $1 million pre-construction contract, has negotiated a PLA with the State Building Trades Council. The Carpenters Union, which is the largest construction trade, encompasses 11 crafts and represents 30% of the project workforce, was not invited to the PLA negotiations in good faith. We were delivered a quid pro quo LOI by Barnard after their negotiations with the Building Trades Council had begun. Multiple Building Trades Council representatives have gone on record at recent meetings stating that there will be a place for us to sign the PLA. The Carpenters were not given an opportunity to negotiate this PLA, and the assumption that we will just sign a PLA that we did not have a hand in crafting is false. There's been a question of why not go to the table now. The PLA has already been negotiated. Going to the table sounds good, but I don't think it means what you think it means. Kind of like how right to work is the actual opposite of what it is, right? Negotiation without representation. That is why hundreds of our members have traveled to Maxwell, California to protest the last 3 sites board meetings. Negotiation without representation. In a letter to the sites board, the governor states, I quote, "I am concerned that the authority's consideration of this role, the CMAR, thus far, has not fully considered the importance of maintaining strong labor relations, which is critical to the timely completion of the project." The governor's concerns were marginalized by site staff. The California Water Commission, potential contributor of more than $1 billion, had a vastly different reaction. The majority of the commissioners, as summarized by the chair, are, quote, "concerned that you, sites, have an issue that may cause a major breakdown in this project." And site staff was instructed to, quote, "fix the labor issue." In order to keep my message clear and simple, I will end by reminding this board the Sites Reservoir is mission critical to our state's water storage needs. In the
Thank you,
very
sir.
near future, but still long before construction begins, your board will be obligated to commit to your portion of funding for this project.
Sir,
Yes.
your 3 minutes is up. Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
Mr. Chair, I didn't receive any additional requests to speak. To the remaining public that's present online and in person, if you wish to provide a public comment, please raise your hand to be recognized. Nothing seen, sir.
All right. Let us move ahead. And thank you for your comments, sir. We are aware of the situation. We will contemplate that at a future time. We have item number 2 on our calendar is the consent calendar. What is your pleasure?
Move consent.
Second. We have a motion and second. Roll call, please, Mr. Clerk.
Director Kehoe,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
Director Lonville,
Yes.
Vice President Botheo,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes.
The consent calendar is approved.
Thank you, sir. Next on our agenda, item 3.1 is the announcement of the Inland Empire Top Workplace Award. And this will be brought to us by Karen Rosendu, our HR and Risk Manager. This is for 2025. Karen.
Good afternoon, President Harrison and members of the board. Today I'm here to share a brief update on our 2025 Inland Empire Top Workplace Recognition and what it reflects about our culture. We don't get these kinds of results without a very supportive board, so thank you all for supporting the staff over the years. Okay. This is our 4th consecutive year being recognized, and our trend continues upward. from number 7 with our 2022 award to number 3 in 2025. There were 43 agencies this year, and we are the only water agency in our size group in the top 15. The only other public employer was the city of Eastvale. And this shows that employees continue to rate San Bernardino Valley among the top employers in the region. This award also strengthens our recruitment and retention in a competitive market, as well as enforces our learning culture and staff development. It supports performance and continuity. An engaged team delivers results. So we'll look at a few pictures of our joyful workplace while I describe how this award is rendered. This award is earned through an employee survey, and it's what our employees have reported based upon their own workplace experiences. This is not a pay-to-play type of program. There are no judges and no votes, and so this is what makes this most meaningful to us. Beyond the recognition, the survey also gives us a clear pulse on what our culture is like in this organization and helps us identify what to sustain and what to improve. From a talent perspective, this award supports recruitment reach and strengthens our public reputation as a workplace of choice in the region. And with that context, here's what the results actually say about us, is that we have a consistent high-performing culture across all of the categories, and these outcomes support our mission, vision, and values. And our overall results have been strong and stable for the past 14 years with no major swings from our last award. And thank you again to our board for supporting the staff and also to our staff. This reflects the culture that we're all building together. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you may have about this award.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate you sharing that with us. It's wonderful to hear that from our employees, and we hope that we can continue to have that kind of a response. We appreciate our employees so much, and hopefully this indicates that they're fairly pleased with being here also. Quite pleased. Thank you. Are there comments from the
Through the
board?
chair. Thank you, sir. I want to take this opportunity to thank Heather and Karen, because starting with our strategic process, our strategic planning process, you both were in with both feet. You took the notes and you really collated and collected everything that we came up with as a board. And you live it and breathe it, I think, every day. And this is proof. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying. I think when you integrate and incorporate our mission, vision, and our values and strategies and all those things that we and believe that it's not just a document, but it's living and breathing, and you put it into action, these are the results. And I just want to thank you both.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yes, Paul.
I would like to point out how important something like this is to director. We don't commonly hear from staff on day-to-day issues and how they feel about being employed with the district. So this is a great way for us to hear from them.
Yes, Susan.
Just wanted to congratulate the management and also to just say every opportunity I have to be with our employees, it's always a pleasure. I mean, they are remarkable, and I think it's because we're such a supportive workplace.
Through the chair.
Thank you. Jose.
I too want to congratulate staff, and like you said, Karen, I think it's meaningful when the own staff is actually rating each other and basically saying these things. And as a board member, we want to know that, and how we could improve the work environment. So congratulations to San Bernardino Valley and staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Heather, this all leads to you. It comes from the top, and you have our greatest thanks and congratulations.
Thank you very much. I share this with all of our staff and with our board. It's a team effort, and it all goes together. And we wouldn't have these results without the managers and the board members. And we like to get out there together too. So we have several events coming up that we'll get to do that and celebrate even more. So it's a pleasure to serve everyone here. So thank you.
Great, thank you. This is a receive and file. We'll move on to our discussion and possible action items. The first one is discussion item 4.1. This is found on page 9 of our agenda. This is to consider our financial statement auditing services for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2026, and will be brought to us by our senior accountant, Matthew Olivio, with his new sign on his desk.
Thank you, President Harrison, members of the board. I'm very excited to bring this item to you today. And I believe we do have Brianna Schultz from RAMS online attending as well, to answer any questions that you may have for her after this presentation.
Great.
Just a little background on the item. The district is required to have an independent audit of its financial records each year. And the district's current auditing firm is Rogers, Anderson, Mallory, and Scott, or RAMS for short. RAMS is a local San Bernardino-based CPA firm. RAMS has also been providing the district with annual audits for the past 20 years, with the district requesting a change in the engagement partner every 5 years. The reason for this item is that the current contract with RAMS concluded with the audit for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. But overall, staff is satisfied with the service that RAMS has provided the district over the years. RAMS is an auditing firm with experience in providing audit services to state water contractors. And with any specific audit or accounting questions that the district has had, RAMS has been very responsive to assist the district in answering those questions. Staff received directions from the Fiscal Policy Committee to request a new contract proposal with RAMS and bring the item to the board for consideration. Because of the change of the audit partner dedicated to perform audit services for RAMS, RAMS' consistent high-quality service, and the fact that RAMS is a local San Bernardino-based CPA firm, I bring this item to you today for consideration, and that leads me to my staff recommendation. Staff recommendation is that the board authorizes the general manager to sign an engagement contract with Rogers, Anderson, Mallory, and Scott, RAMS, for auditing services for a 3-year period of time, fiscal years ending June 30th, 2026, 2027, and 2028, with audit fees not to exceed $33,390, $34,875, and $36,020, respectively, with the option to extend an additional 2 years, fiscal year June 30th, 2029 and 2030. And that's the end of my presentation, and I look forward to answer any of your questions.
Thank you, Matt. It's good to see you up there.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Are there any comments or questions? I have none. I fully support the recommendation. I appreciate that. Is there a motion?
Staff recommendation that we authorize your general manager to sign the engagement agreement with RAMS for auditing services for a 3-year period of time, with audit fees not to exceed the amount stated in the staff recommendation.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and second. Mr. Clerk?
Director Longville,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
Vice President Boteo,
Yes.
Director Keelhold,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes.
The motion carries. The staff recommendation for item 4.1 is approved.
Good job, Matt.
Thank you.
I'm very pleased with RAMS. I think they've done a wonderful job for us, and they are a first-class organization, in my opinion. All right, moving along, item 4.2 of our agenda, consider joint use agreement with Metropolitan Water District for the inland feeder and Foothill Pump Station intertie project. This is found on page 14 of your agenda, and we had a nice presentation on this earlier, and we'll look forward to our staff continuing that presentation at this time. Who is going to do that? Let's see. That'll be Leo. He's up there already. Hi, Leo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, members of the board. I'm happy to be here this afternoon presenting this item. Before moving on to the rest of the presentation, I do want to acknowledge John Bednarski. He's the assistant general manager for Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, and also Eugenia Lin, who is the project manager, and she has been the lead engineer for the last few years for this effort and for this project, and she's online. So if we want to get into the nuts and bolts and detailed questions of this project, we would be able to do that later on. So this process development for this project, like we said earlier, began in early 2021 when the board approved a coordinated operating agreement, also COA, that basically established a partnership framework for coordinated operations to explore mutual aid opportunities. And as a result of that, later in November of 2022, the board authorized and directed staff to start developing the intertie agreement or a joint use agreement, which is before you here today. So with the background and the previous board direction in place, we can now shift to what this intertie project can do. We heard from John earlier, and he sort of explained it, and here's an exhibit that shows just that. You can see here Diamond Valley Lake, which is Metropolitan's reservoir, which holds approximately, I believe, 800,000 acre feet of State Water Project water. And so this project would be able to pump water from the recently Wadsworth pump station, which was completed recently, up the inland feeder, which is the green line here, and then to the red note where the Foothill Pump Station is located, when the intertie project will take place, and then further upstream into Devil's Canyon, which is where we receive State Water Project. And this will allow Metropolitan to deliver water to their service area, which is highly dependent on State Water Project supplies. So zooming into the property a little bit closer, this sort of triangle shape property is the bottom part, which is highlighted in pink, is an area that Metropolitan owns in fee. So that's their property. And then the top, which is not highlighted in pink, is San Bernardino Valley's property. And the yellow highlight shows the easement that Metropolitan will have as a result of this project. This project will include, as you can see here, the interconnection between the Foothill Pump Station, discharge pipeline, and supply pipeline. It consists of about 2,000 linear feet of pipe, and it will hopefully start taking place later this year. So the key provisions on this agreement that you are considering here today is a joint use agreement that Metropolitan will own all of these facilities that you see here. However, we are jointly going to inspect and maintain with coordinated efforts and coordinating with each other. Specifically, you can see a white line, the top part that you can see San Bernardino Valley to maintain. The surge tanks and the pipelines in that area will be responsibility for us. And then the bottom part within Metropolitan's area will be the responsibility of Metropolitan Water District. This project also includes a 132-inch valve, which will be constructed and installed along this blue line here, which is Metropolitan's inland feeder, 144 inches in diameter. Now, like it was also mentioned a little bit earlier, in order to confirm that this project will perform as intended, in October of 2025, staff got together with Metropolitan Water District staff to perform a pump test that basically pumped water from Diamond Valley Lake all through 33 miles of the inland feeder up the mountains and into our foothill pipeline, and was delivered to our Santa Ana Low turnout that brings water into our enhanced recharge 1B basins. As you can see on the upper right photo, which is a courtesy of MWD staff, they took a drone photo of that water that is being delivered at the turnout at that time. This test lasted for about a couple of hours, and I believe we delivered somewhere between 120 to slightly 120 CFS for a couple of hours. So this validated the hydraulics and the communications and the coordination between staff. Which, by the way, we had staff from Metropolitan and our staff as well, as you can see here, in 4 different facilities along the inland feeder, closely monitoring the pressure of the facilities. So that was a great win for us. And with this system performance readiness confirmed, the next steps that we would be focusing on, or actually Metropolitan will be focusing on, is they will be finalizing the design, which is 99% complete, and they will be getting it ready to advertise for bid. They're also going to be finalizing the ongoing permittings and hopefully award construction sometime by the summer of 2026. And the project would be completed towards the end of 2027 and final times and operational in early 2028. In this picture here, by the way, if you're wondering, is Foothill Pump Station, which is already installed. And that is the extent of my presentation. And I will move on to a staff recommendation. So staff recommends that the board approve the joint use agreement with Metropolitan for the inland feeder and Foothill Pump Station intertype project, and authorize the general manager to execute the agreement subject to non-substantive changes as approved by general counsel. And with that, we would be happy to take questions and comments.
Thank you. I was wondering if our general manager, our executive director, had any comments.
My only comment is this is an exciting place to get to. We've been working on it for several years. I think that this is a critical milestone for regional resilience, the ability to, under emergency circumstances, move water around between Diamond Valley and throughout the Inland Empire. It's something that we've needed for a long time. And so to be sitting here today with John from Metropolitan and our staff, it's really exciting. I think this is a huge step forward in terms of preparing for unknown conditions in the future and being able to adapt to whatever comes our way and kind of put all the resources on the table and make sure that we can all serve our customers and the people as well as possible. So very excited.
Thank you. I see this as a significant step in fulfilling our obligation to make sure that our retailers have the water they need at the time they need it, and certainly in cases of emergency. And that's just part of our responsibility, and we take it very seriously. Any comments?
Through the chair.
Yes, Jose.
I am very excited with this project. Being in my other role as a CFO, being at Three Valleys, a CFO at Three Valleys at one time, I understand the importance of this project. This project is huge. I want to emphasize that for the metropolitan area and San Gabriel area, the areas that are solely dependent on state water project. This is a demonstration how thinking outside the box, how Metropolitan came to the table and actually met with San Bernardino Valley and say, how can we as state water contractors work together to resolve a resiliency issue with the drought? Right now, we don't experience it, but several years ago, there was a huge issue where citizens of California were not going to be able to get water, and that was a huge problem. And this allowing the infrastructure that San Bernardino Valley had and working together with Metropolitan is a huge partnership in the right direction to be able to create that resiliency. And it's not just about retailers. I think it's more about how state water contractors are working together for this great infrastructure that we have, which is the State Water Project. So I'm very excited for this project, and thank you very so much. And thank you, John, for being here today.
It's not about retailers, but in the end, it is for our retailers.
Correct.
Just one more.
Yes, Susan.
Those of us that have lived in the Inland Empire for a long time remember when Diamond Valley Lake was under development, and really the first agreements to use our infrastructure to help fill the lake was historic. But I think the thing about this agreement, which is the most outstanding, is that the term of the agreement terminates with the contract, state water contract contracts for Metropolitan in the district. So the term is through 2085. So we really think we have finished. So that congratulations to everyone.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
I just would point out that working together, collaborating, the two districts provide capabilities that couldn't be provided by individual districts. That collaboration is important. As Jose said, it's huge.
All right. Thank you. Gil.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I too want to thank you, John, for being here personally. I think it's a testament to Metropolitan's commitment to partnership, collaboration, and trust. So that's a big deal to us here in this valley. And we haven't always had a cooperative relationship with Metropolitan, but those days are behind us. And I think Mulholland would be proud of us today in terms of being innovative, being measured, and being less reliant. I think if you just indulge me for a minute, sir, being less reliant on Colorado water and turning towards the State Water Project. That's what this means for me today. And I think it's just it's another alternative or another menu item that we both have, both agencies. So hats off to our staffs, both staffs, Metropolitans and Valley District. And I remember that I voted in favor of this when I first joined this board 5 years ago. And look where we are today. It's really the start of something big. So thank you all. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. We will move into what is your pleasure?
I recommend moving staff's recommendation.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and second, Mr. Clerk.
Vice President Mateo,
Yes.
Director Kehoe,
Yes.
Director Longville,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes.
The motion
Thank-
carries. The staff recommendation for item 4.2 is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, John. We really appreciate your presence. I know it's a long drive. Especially if you came from
If you get
Union
started.
Station. But you could take the train back. What? Yes, yeah, right. Gil just points out that you should give our regards to one of our former associates that now I believe is the head of your organization. Tell him we miss him. My committee meeting this morning, he wasn't there and he was supposed to be there, but he deserted us. He's a good guy. Thank you. All right. Let's move ahead to our State Water Project report. And Mr. Plinsky, are you ready for us?
I am.
We're ready for you. Thank you.
Got a couple of good news items that I'd like to share with the board. Thank you, President Harrison and members of the board. I was here last month giving you a State Water Project update, but there was a couple of good news items that I wanted to come back and share with you here in February. So the first one is associated with a challenge that we anticipate facing, and that is the golden mussel. And we know that has been the presence of golden mussel down south. And so, we have been working for months now to be proactive and to ensure that they don't establish within our system. And so for months, San Bernardino Valley, San Gabriel Valley, Metropolitan have been working with DWR to propose adding chemical treatment to Devil Canyon, specifically the first after bay. San Bernardino Valley requested support from DWR management to consider allowing chemical treatment at Devil Canyon. And DWR's management brought together a team of treatment specialists, engineers, and staff from the Southern Field Division. I just want to take a moment that since the challenge of the golden mussel started up north and have been working its way down, DWR has been doing some pilot studies, and one was on the South Bay Aqueduct with EarthTech, the same product that we have been using.
Right.
They also looked at chlorine, and they looked at potter ash, and a couple other things to see the effectiveness. And they have reported back on their own studies that EarthTech had a very promising results and good results on managing and eradicating the golden mussel. So they were able to bring in these specialists, also the engineers who dot I's and cross T's, but they also brought in the Southern Field Division who operate and maintain Devil Canyon. So this is their backyard. This is their facility that they operate. And I'll just say that they had a positive attitude every time we met. It was really yes, we can, a kind of a can-do attitude. And so really just want to really thank DWR and their staff for finding solutions here. And 2 weeks ago, they took it another level and surprised all of us. We were really talking about potentially, we have experience designing and building other chemical injection systems. And so we were kind of proposing that we would do the same, that if they leased some property or allowed us to build facilities at Devil Canyon, that we would like to do that. They came back 2 weeks ago and had a counter proposal. And their counter proposal is that DWR would like to design, construct, operate, and maintain the chemical dosing. And as we all know, kind of working through the DWR approvals can take time. And so by their engineering staff taking the lead on engineering, this will streamline the process. And so we were very pleased to hear that DWR is willing to take this on and is committed to moving it forward. And so the timeline, although very aggressive, we were just so pleased to hear DWR say this, is in February, they will be finalizing an operations plan and the new chemical treatment system for the new chemical treatment system. And then San Bernardino Valley and San Gabriel will review those commitments. I was going to mention on the past slide, Metropolitan has been involved in these conversations, but they are still kind of determining what the best path forward for Metropolitan is. But for us, we know it for San Bernardino Valley and for San Gabriel, we definitely know that Devil Canyon is the ideal spot for treatment. It protects our system from tip to tail, and it also has the longest hydraulic resonance time for our system. So we knew we wanted to go there. And now DWR is saying again that they will finalize everything in February. In March, they plan to complete their design and start ordering equipment. In April, they will construct the new chemical treatment system and begin ordering chemicals. And then in May, they hope to turn this on, and we will start having protection on the Devil Canyon Azusa pipeline. And then also, they are going to dose the Foothill pipeline, which will allow us to turn off our Sweetwater dosing system. And we're going to keep that as an installed spare, and that will be available for us to use should we we need it for any reason. But the primary dosing will now start from Devil Canyon all the way through our system. This is an aggressive schedule. There might be a little bit of slippage when they go to order equipment and all the rest, but this is their target, and we will, continue to meet with them and encourage this building this treatment system at Devil Canyon. So that was my first item. I could answer any questions here before I move on. But really pleased that
Chair.
DWR is stepping up here.
Jose has a question.
Okay.
Again, amazing work. I can't thank you enough, Heather and your team, and Michael, from our conversations from the first time you said it. We were looking at this. And I want to thank the board, our board, for hearing me as well, and really taking the action to aggressively, take action and finding a solution. And Heather, for bringing DWR to the table and for them countering that, that's amazing. So I just want to thank you guys all. I didn't want to miss this opportunity to thank you for that.
You're very welcome. And a team effort, like you said, Heather was involved at the very top. Wynn has been involved in every meetings. Mike Esker has been there talking through the technical side with the DWR staff. And so, and Leo too. So it's really been a whole team effort on the San Bernardino Valley side.
It kind of sent chills down my spine when I heard that thing was showing up down here. And I am so glad that we've had an aggressive program to go after it, and that DWR is fully cooperating. And they have demonstrated they have as much concern about it as we do.
Yes.
Gil, you had a comment?
Yeah, I was just going to ask Heather a question. So I think anytime we can collaborate and bring some infrastructure to that area is great. So Heather, what are the implications for our ideas to have some recharge basins at Devil Canyon? Isn't that a positive?
Yes, it definitely is. We're still working on the engineering and design, working on an agreement with San Bernardino Municipal Water Department because they own the land. So we're working through that. So that is the ultimate goal, is that we will have recharge basins there that will take both state water from a turnout and also eventually some stormwater capture. DWR has been very receptive to our ideas about this infrastructure and others there. I will tell you that I went straight to the top when we realized the risk associated with not addressing golden mussel earlier, and that we thought that we had a solution in place since we weren't seeing golden mussels show up in the East Branch extension to the east. They were very receptive. Carla put her deputy on it, and we had a meeting scheduled within a week with the DWR staff. So I really commend Director Namath for taking us seriously and directing her staff to be open-minded to this solution that we believed would work. And so it's really exciting that, we had kind of proof of concept in what we've been doing for several years. We are not seeing any DNA evidence of golden mussel within the eastern section. So to take that knowledge and get it in place so quickly, and now having DWR even move up the schedule, is really exciting. One goal is that we're trying to have this in place before the spawning season of the mussel, because that way you can basically be treating before there's any eggs and veligers present. So that's kind of what's driving this. But like Director Velasquez said, it's quite extraordinary that DWR is able to move this fast on it. And so I'm very appreciative of that. And then also, taking the infrastructure ideas we have for Devil Canyon even further and getting some recharge there as well.
When is the spawning season?
Well, it's kind of dependent on water temperature and some other conditions, but it's like June, July-ish. It's when the water gets warm.
Nice that we have fish scientists here.
Unfortunately, they don't have it marked on their calendar, so we're making educated guesses here.
One thing I just wanted to, I failed to mention, but if you look to the left here, you can see some of the equipment. That middle picture is actually from the South Bay pumping plant. This was the pilot study that DWR did. And then below is kind of their totes with secondary containment. So what we're kind of characterizing, or what the plan is same thing. We're going to put the infrastructure in kind of in a temporary setup. We want to get it in quick, get it set up. And then ultimately, after proof of concept running, protection, ultimately, I think they are going to build a permanent structure, and then this equipment would be relocated into the permanent structure. So DWR is moving as quickly as they can. And again, we really appreciate this thoughtfulness that's going into this solution.
Excellent. Thank you on that. You have another report, I believe.
Yep, one other item associated with the site's reservoir. Again, a lot of activity on this project, but one thing I did want to highlight is that the site's project authority has identified additional Prop 1 funding through the California Water Commission. And so the site's project authority is working with project partners to gauge interest and finalize the application associated with drought emergency supplies. I just wanted to share that, one of the reasons we're investing in sites is to have dry year yield or dry year supply. And so this application kind of fits right into how we plan on managing sites. And so there is going to be a commitment. The way this program would work is we're going to commit to the state that at the end of a 2-year drought, going into the 3rd year of a drought, that we're going to have about 60,000, not us alone, but sites participants will have about 60,000 acre feet into storage going into year 3. As you know, we're about 10% of the reservoir, so that's about 6,000 acre feet that we would need to make sure that we have in our storage. But that kind of fits right into how we want to manage this reservoir to begin with. So for this available drought supply going into a 3-year drought, we are putting together a benefit or through the California Water Commission that this might be worth something in the tune of $200 to $300 million for a 35-year commitment. And so with San Marino's interest, and we'd like to participate in this program, which could mean that our project cost would reduce by about $20 to $30 million by committing a certain volume of water going into a 3rd-year drought. And one thing I just wanted to share is they did some calcium modeling, and they kind of looked out over 75 years. They're thinking that there's about 6 or 7 qualifying events. This is through the calcium modeling. Which my takeaway is the state is anticipating 3-year droughts probably once every decade. So it's something that we should anticipate and be ready for. And, so conjunctive use projects, investments in sites, investments in the DCP will be really critical if this calcium modeling proves out to be accurate. So with that, happy to answer any questions. We hope to, I think, put this application in the next month or so, once everybody's able to consider their participation. And then it will probably be several months before we hear back from the California Water Commission. But I just wanted to share that the Sites Project Authority is continuing to look for opportunities to bring in outside funding.
Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Appreciate all you're doing for us up in Sacramento. I'm sorry, up in Maxwell.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
All right.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I had a question, Michael. Have there been any recent changes in the state allocation?
Oh, yeah, sorry, I forgot to mention that. Just a little one. Yes, so yes, thank you. Yeah, so it was great news. I think it was last Thursday or Friday. We went from 10% to 30% allocation. What that really means for us is all of our direct deliveries, we're going to be able to meet our direct deliveries, the orders we've received. But still planning on putting 10,000 acre feet into carryover into 2027. The allocation isn't quite high enough to start recharge activities. So we're going to need another bump in table A allocation before we really start getting after recharge. But just happy, and we'll share this with our retail agencies that we feel confident that we can meet direct delivery orders this year, which is always a wonderful place to be in. Yeah. Thank you for that question.
Thank you for the answer.
Yes.
Thank you, Paul. All right. Moving ahead, the next item on our agenda is our director's report. And Paul, let's start with you and just come down the board.
Okay. I've got a couple of meetings to report on, and they were quite productive. I attended the East Valley Water District, and they introduced 2 new employees, and they gave an informational report on some work they had done at Sterling. And I was glad we don't have to do that kind of work. Otherwise, they were just taking care of housekeeping business. And then the second meeting was also on the 28th, and that was the Conservation Trust Board. The Conservation Trust has received the first of the two endowment payments. So they have a balance now that would support the wash plan measures for years. The last 10 years or so, the trust has been operating at a very low level, kind of a maintenance level of meeting the commitments in the wash plan. But this was, I don't know, $6 million. So they can move forward now with some of the bigger elements of the wash plan. So that's good news. Now, what that's also signals is that the state of California knows how to issue permits, and they can do it the second time. So the second mining company shouldn't be that far behind. What the difference is under the federal agreements, the endowments cover the entire project for the life of the project, and they're all collected at one time. The state of California decided not to operate that way, but to piecemeal the project into increments. And so what the Water Conservation District had to do was agree to back up any payments that the mining companies made that weren't followed through with by commitments from the state. So all is good. That's it for me.
That it? Thank you. Jose?
All right. On the 22nd, I attended the SAPA 50th anniversary. So it was a great event that we were all in attendance. So congratulations to SAPA for the 50th anniversary. On 26th, I attended the Association of the San Bernardino County Special Districts dinner hosted by Cucamonga Valley Water District. So that was a good event on AI on cybersecurity. And on the 27th, I attended the 5th District Supervisor Baca event for Flip the Switch ceremony at Rialto High School for the new baseball field. Invited me there, and it was a good event for my high school as well. So that was exciting. And that completes my report.
Great. Thank you. All right. I, on the 22nd, I attended the National HCP Coalition Board meeting. And on the 23rd, I attended the CSDA Legislative Committee meeting. On the 26th, I attended the Special Districts monthly dinner meeting, as already described by Jose. And on the 28th, I attended the Highland Chamber of Commerce meeting where I attempted to kill myself. And then on the 29th, I attended the Loma Linda Chamber of Commerce annual dinner where they honored various personnel, police and fire, etc. And then on yesterday, I attended BTAC, and that brings us up to today. Gil.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Since our last meeting on the 21st, I attended the City of San Bernardino Council meeting. On the 22nd, I also attended the SAPA 50th anniversary. I just wanted to make one comment about anniversaries, and we celebrated our 70th. There was a conversation at SAPA not to have a celebration, and it was brought decided they brought it to the commission, and we decided, of course, that was like a no-brainer for me. And I shared with staff today that when you do the hard work, when you make a difference in your community, and we make a huge difference in water, then if you don't write it, if you don't celebrate it, it never happened. And I learned that in the city of LA in the mayor's office. You have to write everything. And that's what we did. And I think that the staff did a great job. So I just want on the record for people our taxpayers, our ratepayers to know that these events are about celebrating successes and celebrating the work and moving forward and doing bigger things. On the 26th, I also attended the special districts dinner. And then on the 27th, the San Bernardino Municipal Water District, their board meeting. And for the record, I just want to state I'm not always able to attend those meetings in person, but they have them online. So I watched them online. And then yesterday I attended the BTAC. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Susan.
Yes, since our last board meeting, I attended a California Water Commission meeting online because they were talking about the water plan update and how that's going to work with Senate Bill 72. So that was a really worthwhile webinar. If you're interested, I think you can get it online. On the 22nd, I also was out at SAPA for the 50th anniversary, which was a tremendous celebration, and saw so many people I hadn't seen for quite a while. Then on the 28th, the San Bernardino Valley Water Conservation District did another meeting on PERC, which then, of course, they did it on Monday again with BTAC, but this was even in more depth than with their board. So I attended that on the 28th. And then I've done a number of things with the Climate Center last week with our annual business meeting and our annual retreat. I was going to come back to the board and retroactively ask for travel costs, but some of our board members recognize that people who sit on the board from the Central Valley and the Inland Empire, that actually they should contribute and pay for our expensive airfare to San Francisco. Yeah. So I don't have to do that. And that's all I have to report.
Through the chair. I'm sorry, sir.
Thank you, Susan.
Mm-hmm. Susan just.
Gil, go ahead.
Thank you. On the 28th, there was a webinar by the Climate Center. So I attended that. So I'm sorry that I didn't mention that.
Okay.
And I forgot to mention, I also attended the City of San Bernardino meeting where they tried, there were 142 public comments. And after 142 comments, and the mayor vetoed a move by members of the council to eliminate the primaries, the elected mayor, and to put in place 3 consecutive terms for city council members. And so that is over.
It seems like there's no end of entertainment provided by the San Bernardino City Council.
Quite a turnout. I mean, that's an LA style turnout, 142 public comments.
That's more, actually.
Got it. Yes. All right. Our general counsel report is next.
And it'll be very short today because there is none.
Thank you very much. You're a man of few words. We'll move on to item 5.4, the ad hoc and standing committee reports. Anyone that would like to? Okay, fine. We do have ad hoc and standing committees. They just don't report all the time. That's all. And they are meeting. Next, we have our SAPA meeting report, and that'll be brought to us by our SAPA rep, Gil Battelle.
Thank you, President. Today, we had our meeting today this morning at 9:30, and the SAPA Commission awarded a contract in the amount not to exceed $87,985 to the Catalyst Group for strategic planning. It's easy for me to say. I want to make one comment. Heather and I and others were involved in as an interview panel to award this contract. And this group, the Catalyst Group, they were instrumental and involved in the strategic planning for the JPA at sites. That's a big deal. They know what a strategic plan is. They know what it looks like, that it's living and breathing. And that's why they stood out for me. I'll just talk for myself. But it was a proud moment because I think that that when you've been through it, like we were recently through it, and I've been through it before, but the most recent one was with this agency, it is inspiring, and it leads you to do the things that Karen talked about earlier in terms of our staff and the best and the brightest, and really knowing how to motivate people to do their best. And that's what I think that's what's going to happen over at, I know that's what's going to happen over at SAPA. The per diem, for commissioners and alternate commissioners was automatically increased 5% from 270 to 280 effective January 2026. And sir, would you like to report on Project 24?
Sure. On PA 24 committee, we authorized the general manager to execute a license agreement with Southern California Edison. This has to do with some of their facilities that are existing facilities in SAPA's brine line right-of-ways, et cetera. And so we approved that. And then the next one was the project agreement authorized to the general manager to sign a property damage release. We had an intrusion into the brine line by a contractor, and the damages to repair that and get it back to normal were $41,800. And their insurance company agreed to pay the exact amount that it cost us to repair that after that accident. In addition to that, we had a presentation by our staff and the city of Chino in the Euclid Avenue Bridge project. Chino is going to raise the Euclid road to get it up out of the floodplain, and they're going to take that over from Caltrans and rebuild it, raise it, and we have our brine line down the same alignment. There's about 4,000 feet of brine line that will be moved also, and all of this is on property that's owned by the Corps of Engineers. So you've got the city of Chino, you've got the state of California, we got SAPA, and the Corps of Engineers, which is the 600-pound gorilla in this agreement. But it looks like it's going to be a very beneficial project and seems to have support from those agencies. So it'll be interesting to see this go forward. This is initial report. We didn't take any action today. That's all that I have for that. Are there any requests for future business?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I would like to hear a status update on the City Creek crossing.
All right. All right. I think that's a good idea. We have a request in a second. Mr. Clerk, would you like to take a vote?
Director Longville,
Yes.
Director Velasquez,
Yes.
Vice President Mateo,
Yes.
Director Keelhold,
Yes.
and President Harrison.
Yes.
The motion carries. This item will be added to a future board meeting.
And are there any others? Hearing none, we'll move into our announcements. Mr. Clerk, would you like to expand on any of the announcements that are found on page 38 of our agenda?
Yes, Mr. President, members of the board, highlighting the remainder of February, just a reminder to the board, next week we will be conducting 2 workshops, a policy one and in engineering on the 10th and the 12th. Also wanted to remind the board that on February 16th, we will be closed for a federal holiday. And closing out the month of February, just want to remind everyone that we will be conducting a WIFIA board meeting on the 18th at 8:30 in the morning. And the very next day, we are excited to report that we will be conducting the Santa River Science and Conservation Symposium at Esri. Pending any questions from the board, that's all we have for announcements.
All right, any comments or questions? All right, hearing none. We do have a closed session today, and we'll ask our attorney to bring us into our closed session.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today we'll be going into closed session for public employee performance evaluation regarding the general manager / CEO.
Thank you very much. We will adjourn to a closed session, and we will report back when we are finished. Are we back live yet? Thank you, sir. All right, council,
No reportable action from closed session today.
thank you very much. There being no further items on our agenda, we are adjourned.